Hi, welcome to Bess Mahaney Pilates YouTube channel. I hope everyone is staying safe and is well. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up or subscribe after you watch the video. Today I wanted to go over some exercises for golfers. There's a lot of golf going on now, including with myself. Alright, so I'm going to take you through a slow-mo swing and then talk about everything exercise-wise for golf. It's a head-to-toe game, alright? So, here's a quick little slow-mo swing. So right away my legs are working, okay? And then I'm going to do the back swing. My right hip moves back, my right rear end. Back swing, and then I'm going to come through, little wrist action, follow through, and I end this way with my knees kind of kissing together. Alright? Okay, so let's get started. I probably should have taken off my slippers beforehand. Live in my slippers. Alright, so let's start with on hands and knees to do a little spine warm up first. Okay, so a little cat-cow, rib cage drops, and exhale, and inhale, exhale, one more, inhale, and exhale. Now you need a lot of balance for golf, so we're going to do a little opposite arm, opposite leg right out of the gate. Now if you find you struggle with this, you can just keep one foot down on the floor or the other arm kind of downwards towards the floor. Otherwise, come into your opposite arm, opposite leg. Stand tall in the arm, hips are parallel to the rug, mat. Switch sides. Alright, standing tall on the arm, keep your head in line with your spine, which is a tricky thing sometimes, switching sides. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Balancing. You need balance for golf, especially in the follow-through part of the swing, the end of the swing. Alright. Sit back in a child's pose. Reaching the fingers forward so you get a stretch in your shoulders. Your shoulders have to be pretty flexible, along with upper back strength for golf. But it's really in the hips and the pelvic floor that really makes that difference in your swing. Alright, so coming on to your back, we'll do a little core warm up. Alright, try to make sure I'm in the camera. Alright, lying all the way flat down, reach the arms over your head. Inhaling, exhale. Roll ups. And 3 more times. Now if this is hard for you, you can start sitting up this way and roll back halfway, just holding onto your legs. Alright? That's a nice modification. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Last one. Okay, let's roll all the way back. One knee is going to pull in, head and shoulders lift. Opposite leg extends out for single leg stretch. Do a few of these. Again, it's hip flexibility and strengthening and stretching. If you don't like your head up, you can put your head down. You can also modify this as the legs are at a little higher diagonal. All right, hug those knees in. Let your head rest. All right, so we have to do a lot of rotation in Pilates for golf, but for any sport, really. So legs in tabletop, hands behind your head. You can also leave your head down with this one. It's a little bit challenging that way, but okay. So I'm going to extend one leg and rotate to one side, my torso. One rib to the opposite hip, if you want to visualize that. Come back to center. Rotate to the second side. Back to center. Rotate. Lots of rotation in golf, as you could see when I demonstrated my swing. My back was sore for quite a while until I started getting used to practicing my golf swing several times a week. One more on each side. Keep breathing. All right, hug those knees in. All right, feet are gonna come on the mat. Lost my pants there on those roll-ups. Okay, so bridging, hip work, glute work, very important for golf. All right, because you're using your hips a lot. Okay, so feet are pretty close to my bottom. I'm going to imprint. Slowly tilt my hips backwards. Press into all four corners of your feet, lifting up. Pull the belly in. Reach those knees away from the hip joint here, okay? And lower it down. So you try to articulate your spine, lowering it down one bone at a time. Inhale again, exhale. Make sure your big toes are pressing into the mat, as well as your heels and all the corners of the feet. You can have your palms up as well if that feels like your shoulders open a little bit more that way. Roll it down. Exhale. Hold for a second. Don't hold your breath though. You can inhale again at the top of that bridge. Exhale down. Belly pulls in. One more time. We're going to add a little challenge to this. Optional. If you want to continue with one bridge with both feet on the floor, that's fine. Otherwise, extend one leg. Hold that bridge. Bring that foot back to the floor. And see if your hips stay level when you're doing this one-sided. I'm not going to keep my hips really high. My hamstrings are cramping. That's not unusual. One more on each side. And roll it down. Pull those knees in. So I like to pull the knees in, lift my head and shoulders, and kind of rock back and forth. Sometimes I do a little happy baby. Okay. So let's bring the hands behind the thighs, and you're going to help yourself up. So we're going to go onto our bellies for a little swan work. Okay, so onto your belly. Make sure I can stay in the camera. I'm using a new light today, so it's hard to see myself with the light high. Okay, so let's come all the way down, and our hands they can be wider than your mat or the width of the mat. The key here is to not let your upper traps rise up here. So you're going to pull your shoulder blades down your back. Your legs can be wide. And then you're going to just lift up into the forearms. And when I do this, I kind of resist my hands back towards my feet. Widen my collarbone. Press my pubic bone into the mat. My head's in line with my spine, so I'm not doing this, okay? Head's in line with your spine. Lower down. Adjust those shoulders. Press up. cramping in my feet. Again, not unusual. So I'm up here, widening my collarbone, sliding my shoulders down the back, pulling in my belly, anchoring my pubic bone into the mat, resisting my hands back, and lowering down. And again. So I can even kind of start my swan without even pushing into my forearms. Some of you may have that upper back strength that works. So in other words, it would kind of look like this if I didn't have my hands on the floor, and I would lift up into swan. Just like this. I'll do a few more like that. I feel like my shoulders stay stable a little bit better doing it this way. And I can kind of pull my elbows back and get some upper back engagement. One more. All right. Bring your arms to your sides. We'll do one more thing. So lift that chest. So I'm here again. And my arms come out in a T shape, okay, above the floor. And then I'm going to just pull my arms back, move them forward. So keep the arms low enough that your shoulders are stable on your back. And I'm feeling the muscles that I feel after I've worked at the driving range, hitting about 50 balls. My upper shoulder blades, not my traps, but my shoulder blades are worked. One more. All right, let's sit back in a child's pose. Again, you can bring your hands back here and let your head drop onto the floor. Since we worked our shoulders a bit, it's a nice relaxing pose. All right, so you notice we're doing flexion and extension of the spine. This is flexion when your spine is rounded, and extension when we were just doing those swans. That's extension. Okay. So let's go into a little side lying hip work. I'm going to abbreviate this for some of you today. So I'm up on my forearm. You can also be down here like this. Okay. So you decide. I'm going to bend the bottom leg, which is more of a beginner way to set up. And I'm going to just lift that top leg and lower. We won't do a lot of these, but you get the idea. They're uncomfortable. But you have to have flexible and strong hips for golf. A lot of walking too. And 2 more times. And then we'll circle the leg, circle, and try to be up on that forearm and not kind of collapsing in your shoulder. And I have some snap, crackle, and pop. Reverse it. I'm flexing my ankle too. Get a little more stretch. All right, so stop right about there, hip height. Kick forward twice. Point that foot as you move that leg back and open your hip. Pulse, pulse. And 2 more. And I feel these already. All right, let's do the second side. And even though you're kind of lying sideways, you want to be sure your belly is engaged, right? Okay, so I'm set up again on my forearm. I'm going to lift that leg so I won't have as much range of motion on this side because I already know my left side's a little bit tighter. It's all right. Every side is different, but we're going to work both sides so we balance out the body. And 2 more. And circle the leg. This is actually good to do every day, which I don't do. I don't do hip work every day, but I should. Reverse. I'm kind of losing it here, so I got to press up into my forearm. Pull my belly in. 1 more. All right, side kick. So that leg is hip height. Kick forward twice. Point slightly back. You want to make sure your hips aren't doing a lot of movement here when you're meaning your pelvic floor. You want to keep it stable. pelvic floor. The hips are doing work, but 2 more times. And last one. Keep smiling. All right. So lie back at your back real quick, just for a quick figure 4. My figure 4, I just cross one knee over the opposite knee, kind of pull on my ankles, because I get more of a stretch that way. And switch sides. Opposite knee over the other. There you go. Cleansing breaths. All right. So let's roll it up again. So we're going to do a little planking, more core. So I'm going to do a basic plank and some side planks just for fun. All right. So when we get into a Pilates plank, we start on all fours, and I just send one leg back behind me, and then the opposite leg comes out. Your head's in line with your spine. Your legs are engaged. Try to open that collarbone wide. All right, so this is a head to toe exercise, just like golf. Now I move my one hand in, and I'm going to get into the side plank. So I rotate. My feet are not stacked on this. They're kind of one in front of the other. Side plank. Keep shoulders down, away from your ears. Pull your belly in. Come back to that regular plank. Reorganize. Come on down. I'm going to switch to the other side so I'm facing the camera. On all fours. One leg goes back and the second side. You're in your plank. Squeeze those legs. Keep your head in line with your spine. Pull your belly up. One hand moves in towards the mat. And you're pushing your tailbone forward. And still smiling. Pulling that belly in. All right. And back to that plank. And bring those knees down. All right. Let's sit cross-legged, which is hard for some people. Now, if you can't sit this way, I recommend getting like a yoga block. I'll demonstrate. Sit on my yoga block. Or anything really. A bolster, a couple pillows. All right. And then we're going to just side bend. This will be a modified mermaid. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Mermaid. This is a great stretch. Should really do it also before the golf game, if you have time. You can also sit on your block like this, and you get the hamstrings stretching too. And you can never stretch too much. Alright, one more on each side. And we're going to end with a roll down, standing roll down. Alright, excellent. Alright, I'm going to stand. Need my block anymore. Okay, so standing roll down. I kind of use the arms over my head. Feet are hip width distance or a little less, sitting bones distance. Inhaling, and then we're going to dive over a large beach ball. Articulating through the spine as far as you can go. Don't worry if you can't go far. Soften the knees. Inhale and exhale. Now I'm going to keep the arms at my sides for the next one. Exhale. So my chin drops. Upper back throwing down, mid back, lower back, through the pelvic floor. Hamstrings are stretching, arms are long, head is heavy. Let your head go. Inhale, exhale. Soften those knees, slide the shoulders away from the ears. Stack it up. One more time. Articulate that spine. And exhale. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that helps with your golf game. And actually you can do these exercises for any sport, really. Pilates helps everybody. So I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.